illustrations, and revered professor, most dangerous entomological expedition. Greetings and salutations, dear reader. It is I, Professor Bonlin Impongo. You've no doubt heard of me due to my legendary discoveries gathering the data for the Encyclopedia Palia, for my well-chronicled exploits in entomology monthly, when my friends at the Bahari Institute asked me to come to the region and document some of the unique insects that call the area home. I was unable to resist. I've had my eye on a trip to this lovely region for years, and I simply cannot wait to catalog some of the marvelous specimens found here, including the Kilima moth, a variant with beautiful silvery wings. I've caught so many of those. After 4 days traveling by coach, I finally arrived in Kilima, a cozy little hamlet near the coast, where the inn has good drinks and friendly company. Though the place is clearly a backwater, seeing as no one here has ever heard of me, the locals, however, make an apple cobbler that is like nothing you've ever tasted. It is no doubt how the innkeeper became the stout man he is today. Before I head out for research, I've purchased every cobbler that I can find in the village, stuffed myself near to bursting with its sticky, syrupy deliciousness, and packed as many as I can fit into my travel pack. This has caused a brief kerfuffle with the local mayor, who initially complained about my cobbler apocalypse, mumbling something about needing them for an upcoming festival. Clearly, the portly fellow wanted all the pies for himself. When I told him I was here on business from the Institute, however, his demeanor quickly changed and he became my escort for the day. This was the treatment I should have received upon my arrival, but better late than never, I suppose. Though the place is quaint, my brief time here in Kilima village has been rather enjoyable overall. This morning I left the comfort of the village for the backcountry where better to find the most impressive specimens and expand my legacy further. After all, one does not get to be as famous as I without going the extra distance to find the truly extraordinary. This particular area is known for its population of jewel-winged dragonflies. Showing off their iridescent golden and green bodies, this is a majestic, beautiful, and quite elusive creature. It is unlike that someone like you, dear reader, could ever hope to capture one alive. It requires the utmost cultivation and skill, but I, Professor Mpongo, am no amateur. I shall capture and catalog one, report here once I have a magnificent specimen in hand. Dirty, sneaky little trickster. After almost an hour pursuing it, I was about to capture my quarry when I was tripped down the hill, tumbling head over end. Someone as famous as I could ever be clumsy. So obviously the notion proposed by some that the tree root has already been there is completely preposterous. Editor note, this is a well-known area. The tree root in question has been there for decades. Clearly the vile and devious jewel wing sprung a trap for me. I hurled down the hill uncontrollably until a tree stopped my tumble, ending in all of my delicious apple cobbler being smashed all over myself and belongings. No doubt this was the part of the little menace's plan. Now I am sore from the impact and tired from the excursion. I'll just lay here for a little while and rest and eat what cobbler hasn't been destroyed to get energy back before I continue my research. Now we got thieves, marauders. While resting at my base of the tree, eating what I could salvage of the apple cobbler, I dozed off for a bit. Yes, the sun had moved considerably through the sky, but that's just due to the region and the time of the year. It was only a few minutes, I'm certain. In that time, my entire travel pack and all of its contents have been carried off by Kilima's version of ants. Monstrous little thugs, as big as your hand, more like. Editor's note, the largest Kilima ant ever recorded was the size of a fingernail. When I awoke, they had already made off with my pack and were happily sinking their mandible knives into my flesh, looking for more cobbler. Really, this had been the grand design of the nefarious jewel wing all along. It also occurs to me that those wicked village folk may have also been in on it, forcing all of the delicious pie upon me, knowing that I would be irresistible to insect horrors that call this region home. Now I'm sticky, covered in painful bites. The sun is setting, and my supplies are gone. However, I remain undiscouraged, undeterred, for I am Professor Bonlin and Pongo, the premier entomologist in Palia, and right now is the perfect time to seek out the Kilima night moth. Cataloging this creature in detail will further cement my name as one of the greatest bug brains of all time. You should have seen the reader as I trudged along the path, weakened by my valiant wounds and on the verge of dying of starvation from not having eaten all evening. I was considering returning to the village to rest and recuperate when I saw them. Great, horrible, winged beasts, beating the air into submission with their silvery blades as they cursed the sky. There must have been 4, no 8, no 20 of the monsters flying right toward me, no doubt excited by the scent of my blood. Editor's note, it's known fact that Kilima night moths do not drink blood, but they are attracted to fruit like apples. Even the name Kilima night moth speaks to murderous intentions if I've ever heard of it. I ran screaming into the woods as fast as I could. Fortunately, I ran into a local hunter who was able to point me back to the direction of the village. I forget the lad's name now. I think it started with an H. I think I tried to warn him of the horrible moth bats and the danger ahead, but he looked at me and slowly shook his head. Rose going through it right now. The poor boy probably couldn't even comprehend the danger I was frantically trying to communicate to him. It's also possible that these ignorant folk are used to such sights, but let me tell you, dear reader, civilized Ajari have no business out in the muck with these monstrosities. I barely made it back to the village with my life. Note, it's reported that Mr. Mpongo was found disheveled with minor bruising and a few ant bites, and slightly sticky to the touch, but otherwise good condition. In conclusion, dear reader, you can see how dangerous the art of entomology is, and why every bit of my name is earned through blood and sweat and tears. Though I did not catalog any of the fiends that I encountered, only a seasoned explorer such as I, Professor Bong, could have survived what was clearly an impossible mission from the outset. The region of Kilima is a terrible place, hostile, unforgiving, and brutal, inhabited by unnatural beasts and savage barbarians who look to turn you into bait for the region's monsters with their pies. My advice to you is to stay out of the woods, leave the hard work up to us professionals, and continue buying my books until the next adventure. That's funny.